They the Roy's new podcast, who want the smoke? Coming raw and uncut like who want this dope? Whatever you want, they for sure to cover the topic. From racial issues to fashion flies to cockpit. Y'all ain't never get it like this, cause they ain't never did it like this. We on our this the way the cookie crumbles for y'all. She gon' bring the inspiration to all. You know what's up with her. And this shit manifesting is a vision. And y'all gon' love TJ cause he the realest. From the heart of them all, they the start of it all. You looking for a high learning, holla at Gerard. The professor, nothing lesson, coming at you with the lessons. Get your edge if you knowin' what's good for you. They educated, but they still keep it hood for you. Won't need another, this one here really do it for you. Baby,
Brother Joshua, what's up, man?
It's all good, baby. How you doing?
Oh, man, life is grand, man. You know that old saying, if I had your hands, I'd cut mine off, man.
I encourage people to get a hand as good as mine.
Man, right on, brother. Right, man. Appreciate you. So welcome, audience, y'all. Welcome to another show of Real Man Talk, hosted by the Floor Is Yours podcast. You know the game. You know the rules. We need you to stop what you're doing right now and like, share, subscribe if you have not, and also most importantly, we need you to share this with people who may not know about us, people who could be blessed by this conversation right here. Make sure that they're aware that we're on so that they can be a part of this great discussion. So again, appreciate you. If you followed us for over the years, you know Josh Pondexter, he's no stranger to the show. But what we're gonna do for those that don't know him, and a lot has changed with him, I'm sure, since he's last been on the show, we're gonna go to get this young man an opportunity to introduce himself and tell us what brings him to the show.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man. I was being distracted. I was trying to see if it does say that I'm live on Facebook.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But hey, listen, who I am, number one, I'm a Christian. I am a father, a grandfather. I am some say a businessman, entrepreneur. I consider myself to be a salesman, right? So those are what I am professionally. My business, we do. We're a boutique practice, which consists of estate planning, assets protection, and business advisory, right? And I use the word boutique because we're a private offering. Everybody can't afford to be our clients, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
with that's what I do professionally. Other than that, I am a Black man advocate. So someone said they don't see us. Let me tell them what to go to your part.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Okay. So yeah, I appreciate you. There's a lot there to it, man. A wealth of knowledge. I've been working with you for, since right at COVID. So since 2020, I learned a lot from you, man. I appreciate a lot of what you bring to the many discussions. We don't always agree, but I like what Barack Obama said, that we can disagree without being disagreeable. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't expect to agree with everything that everybody do on this earth, and I just appreciate the space to grow.
If that was the case, you wouldn't have your own thoughts.
Right.
Agree with everything another man said.
Right. So y'all know the thing about Real Men Talk is that I just want to create a safe space where men can come on and talk about challenges that are unique to men. Now, that don't mean that it's only men. Our challenges do touch our community, our family, our friends, of that. But today's is a heavy one. I've been petitioned to bring this topic a number of times. And Josh, when you hit me up the other day, I was like, man, this is perfect. So is marriage worth it? Is marriage worth it? And I'm going to ask that to the audience. If y'all don't mind, go ahead and put your answers in the comments. And we're going to make sure we get to everybody's comment if possible. But we want to make sure that your voice is heard. But if you could just answer that question and put it in the comments, is marriage worth it? And Josh, I know that that's shaped a lot by people's experience. And,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we think our experience is absolute truth, and it's not so much so. But, without splitting hairs, I just want you to go ahead and talk about, why this topic is so important to you.
Absolutely. Of course, it's trending with uh, the impending divorce of Judge Joe Mathis, right? So everybody's talking about it. Is looking at those unicorn men, those highly wealthy men, and that seeing that they are getting divorced. Not only Judge Mathis, uh, Bill Gates, the Amazon guy, Jeff Bezos, so people look at these guys and get married, who was married long term, and they get divorced. It's like, wow, is it worth it? And so we must recognize that marriage is the building block to the family, to the community, to the nation, right? So it's a critical topic, and how do you look at it, and how do you participate in it in this modern world? It was an institution that God designed, right? And so everything that He designed is perfect. So it must not be the institution; it must be people who are not interacting with the institution correctly. But
Yeah.
is it worth it? The reason that I think this is critical, because our community, marriage rates in our community is at dismal level. In the 60s and the 50s, we were the most married people in America. 85 to 88% of people who grew up with two family homes, right? Most in the last 30 years, most kids don't even know what that's like, right? To have that level of comfort. So yeah, it's a very critical question, and I have some information I'm gonna share, and you're gonna ask the questions,
Yeah.
and we're gonna ferret this thing out. Is it worth it? Have the people that are viewing, you can chat, you can ask questions, you can put your opinion in. Is it worth it? Yes or no?
Yeah, yeah. I've talked to some of the girls on the show, Ivory and
Hmm.
Misha. I told them my thoughts were that a lot of we don't understand, like, there's different reasons to start a relationship. And my three categories, you tell me if you agree with this or not. One is like we're starting off young, trying to start a family and build legacy. Um, Two, sometimes we have to restart because we didn't do it right the first time,
Hmm.
maybe had passed away or whatever. And sometimes we're starting again that second time. And oftentimes they come with blended families, right?
Right.
And children may or may not be in that plan. But sometimes, that fails, or it's just later on in life. And that third one, and we talked about this, is for simple companionship. And I think that's where a lot of hiccups come, when you figure out, like, man, you're in your 40s and 50s, like, why are you still getting it wrong? And I've noticed that some people don't understand, like, when you're getting married later on, it's not to
Mhm.
start or build legacy with family. Oftentimes you
Right.
have kids from previous
Mhm.
relationships, businesses, passions, all these other things, and you're trying to hold on and fast to what's important to you. And sometimes it
Mhm.
don't gel right with what the other person is going on. So would you agree with those three, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. Those phases of life, right?
Yeah.
So once again, marriage used to be under the auspices of the church, right? It is a religious institution. So now it is under auspices of the government. So if I marry here's me, here's my wife, we have a conflict, we have to take it to the state to resolve it, right? It used to be that if we had a conflict, we could take it to God and resolve it, right? So that was removed. And then we're talking about those phases. Um, there used to be and I'm gonna call this pseudo-Christian doctrine, that you only got one pull, uh, or one bite at the apple, right? So you got married and you got divorced. You were not qualified to get remarried. So that used to be the standing rule in most churches.
Mhm.
So now, since there's marriage, divorce, and remarriage, people find themselves getting multiple bites at the apple, right? And so let's look at those multiple bites. The first bite in the current environment, 51% end up in divorce. The second bite, 67% end up in divorce. The third bite, 71 plus percent end up in divorce, right? So that's those multiple bites. So, hey, if you get married, try to make it work the first time. And the second time, you had your children with your first spouse, and you got your homes and all the other things. You got your career. No, marriage is not for building a family. You're already in built family with someone else. Now two people are coming together. What are you gonna do in a marriage, right?
Mhm.
So that failed. Then you go to the third one, and so, well, we're not building family. We're not building wealth together. We're not even working together. We just want a companionship. I want a partner, right? So, yeah, I see those three phases in the modern marriage very clearly, my brother.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things you talked about is those multiple divorces. You know, if you did it once and you get a divorce, the chances for a second divorce increases, and same for the third one. But I
Right.
think it's important for us to talk about what are the issues in the first place that are causing divorce. So we know that they're countless. You know, and I know you've talked about irreconcilable differences, or sometimes
Mhm.
just pick the wrong mate. So I want us to talk about that piece. It really the picking the wrong mate. So what's causing that? Like, why is that happening at such a high level?
Well, of course, um, those instances where people get divorced, they're interviewed and they say that infidelity, financial, and outlaws, right?
You said
Get into
outlaws.
your outlaws, your in-laws, right? Right. So they get into your business. So the deal is that typically those two people who come together, they both want to be married and they both want to stay married. But if they allow those infidelities, that's another person getting into your relationship. And if they allow um, the in-laws to get into their relationship, that's other people. And then money problems can be solved, right? So
Mhm.
I don't think that in the majority of the cases, people are choosing the wrong spouse. In all honesty, I'm a divorced man. I've been married and divorced twice, and and I did not marry those women to be divorced. So
Mhm.
uh, it wasn't love, lack of love, wasn't bad choice or anything like that. I believe we both came together with the same ideal to stay together, but we allowed other people to get into our business.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think that people, get married. So, maybe later on in life, if you wait till you 35 and 40 and you got a career and you're making $100,000 a year and you don't need another partner financially, but when you're young and building together, those are not the ideologies.
Yeah. You know, reason why I ask that is because sometimes people are going into a marriage with the wrong
Hmm.
ideals, principles, and values,
Okay.
um, and and so that's why I say that sometimes it's the wrong spouse. And I know when it sounds good, feels good in the beginning, that whole
Hmm.
newness phase, it'll
Hmm.
drive us and it'll make us
Okay.
like have hope, and that something about me, the way I love this person, is going to change them. You know, So that's kind of
Okay,
why I was thinking like
I
the
have your
wrong.
point now, because some of those things that I enumerated, culturally you bring from your home, right? So this is the
Mm,
way we did it. My mom and dad did it, right? I'm looking for someone to fulfill me. I have a program in my ideal how things will go, and this is what I'm saying. All that stuff you must let go, and the two people that come together, you decide how you love one another. You decide on
mm,
what works in this relationship, right? And so I agree that that takes a lot of maturity to get to that point,
yeah,
and selflessness, right? You're not a very selfish person, so absolutely, I think that is,
yeah,
and I get your point clearly that when people come from uh, a position of being selfish, that oh, it's all about me, fulfill me, and then you have two people like that get together, you got a serious problem.
yeah, yeah. That's good. Hey, and out there in the audience, we see the comments coming in. We appreciate all of them. We're gonna continue to talk, and we promise you we're gonna get to as many of them as possible.
We
So
got
keep them
time.
coming. Stay engaged. Remember what the initial question was:
Is
is
Yeah, we got
marriage
time for
worth
this.
it? And then we're gonna ask. Yeah, we're gonna ask it again at the end after Brother Joshua feed us that this great wisdom
Yeah,
on the
I
topic.
got my
So
jug of water. I'm ready.
so
Let's go.
yeah. So one of the things that we talked about is
Yes.
statistics. You know, I take it with some seriousness, and it really gives you a snapshot into
Hmm.
what's going on, but it doesn't speak to everybody's situation
Right.
specifically. But I mean, it's kind of hard to argue when you say how many what's the percentage for the first rate that ends
Yeah,
up in divorce? You said 60.
51% of first marriages in America end up in divorce. 51%.
Yeah. So with that being said, what's the percentage of those are filed by the woman, and what percentage is filed
Well,
by the man?
good question. 70% are filed by women, and then that number rises to 80% if those women are college educated, right? And so why should that make a difference? Because when you go into these hello halls of learning, and taking all these philosophy classes, and all of these rudiments of the world, your ideas shift, right? And so you've been influenced. You have seen people that come from very solid, spiritually based homes, whether they're Muslim, whether they're Christian, whether they're Buddhist or whatever, and they go off to university, and the parents don't recognize them when they come back a year later, right? So that number, when people are more educated, i.e., women, the divorce rate goes well up to 80%. 70% of women file,
Yeah,
80% um, when you're educated, and then you say, well, why? What's the reason, right? So there's plenty of divorce attorneys that are online now on YouTube, on TikTok, telling you in their practice what are being cited as the reason. The women are saying they're no longer happy. I'm no
yeah,
longer
yeah.
satisfied with this, and and so
We grew apart.
irreconcilable differences.
I've heard them say that we grew apart.
Right? Yeah, grew apart. Yeah, that one. That one. That's not a reason to dissolve a holy union, right?
Mhm.
So those nuances fit very perfectly into irreconcilable differences. Now, when you had a no fault, when you had that's no fault divorce, but when you had a fault, somebody had to admit wrong to
Yeah,
get a divorce.
yeah,
They had to give a concrete reason. None of those nebulous, we grew apart, I'm just not happy. No,
yeah.
no.
So
that's
think about this, Josh.
Mhm.
When you say 70% and then 80%. So that means if we're in a room with 10 people,
Yeah.
seven out of those 10 are going to end in divorce.
No,
And
no, 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 no. I'm just saying if we're in the room with 10 men and they're divorced, 70% of those
okay,
divorces was initiated by their wives.
got you,
Right. Yeah.
got
And their men like Judge Mathis, highly successful, viable men contributing to their community, running foundations, giving back to the community, helping people go to drug programs. They're Bill Gates who have foundations, whatever we think about him. Uh, Jeff Bezos, people giving billions of dollars to charitable causes, right? Doing good. These men are titans of their industries. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you put them men together, and then you put me and also ran Joe Blow, all them other guys. Get 10 of us together, and we divorce. 70% of those divorces was initiated by the female spouse.
Yeah, it's pretty telling. It's pretty telling. We'll get to the whys behind it, but let's go to some of
Yeah,
the comments real quick before they get too far from
yeah,
us, and then we'll
yeah.
jump to
Get
some
in there
more
because
topics.
they want to get in.
Oh yeah. So my good friend Alicia, she said yes, marriage is worth it. I'll have to
Thank
agree
you.
with her. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our good friend Kenya down in San Antonio, Texas, she said, "Hello, gents. Marriage is worth it if it's approached by both sides intentionally. Divorce doesn't mean that the time spent together wasn't valuable. We have lost our values and morals.
Maurice.
Yeah, stay healthy, my friends. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I get what she's saying. Just because it ended doesn't mean that we've lost that the marriage was not valuable. You just lost your values and morals. So you want to
Yeah,
respond to that one?
yeah, absolutely. And that's perspective, and we all have our perspective. As a divorced man, I liken it to a trip. We started in New York City, and we were traveling to L.A. And on the flight, so we met at the airport, and on the flight, we shared pictures and of families and vacations and all these wonderful memories. And then when we got to our destination in LA, we said, hey, we're going to keep in touch. But we departed and we did not. End of our destination. Right. So that time that we spent together was not um, useless. It was valuable. It may have produced children and grandchildren. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some value, even though the marriage ends before before death.
You know, that old saying it is better to love and lost than to never love at all. I think that's
Agreed.
kind of what you're saying. Yeah. Got my hometown from Texarkana boy, Corey Sanders checking in. Appreciate you watching. Miss Kenya got another. She said, have the hard conversation up front before sex. Read 8 Dates by Goddard. Unpack the real questions. Ladies, it's in your best interest because we tend to catch emotions quicker. Men be gangsters, sweep her off her feet. Be ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
yeah, 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 absolutely.
yeah,
If you get, if you get a romantic guy that's spitting poetry to you and things of that nature, but I will guarantee you that 90% of men don't have that ability. They don't have that mouthpiece. They're
yeah,
awkward and socially inept. But it's that
mm,
10% that women like, the Nick Cannon,
yeah.
the
So,
the
yeah, for
Romeo.
sure, for sure. So talk about that 10% real quick, if you don't mind, before we go back to the
Well,
next comment.
10% on the globe, You know, I don't know where they get these basketball players from because they are unicorns, but only 10% of the men on the planet are 6 feet tall and above, right?
Mhm.
And then only 10% of men on the planet anywhere in the world make $100,000 and above, right? Only 10.
Wait, say that again. Less than 10% of the men in the population of the
Yeah,
world
10%.
make less
Only
than
10%. Only 10% of the men on the planet are 6 feet tall and above.
okay.
Only only 10% of the men on the planet make $100,000 plus. Only 10% of the men on the planet talk like Barack Obama.
So you building
That's
the
right. That's
ideal
right.
man
And
over 6 feet tall.
that's what the woman wants. Yeah,
Okay.
she's been
Okay.
sold the fairy tale, uh, the knight in shining armor. Most men armor is overalls with a whole bunch of dirt on it and a whole bunch of car grease. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So that's
Hmm.
a fantasy that only 10% of the men can fulfill for
Hmm.
80% of the women.
So you throw in there the challenges like demographics, far as who they want to date, far as race,
Right. Yeah.
religion, our own personal desires,
Yes.
location. Um, yeah, if even if I want to date, so that just shrinks that pool a
Yeah.
lot more. And some of the 10% are
Right.
married,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So it gets thinner and thinner,
yeah,
and then there's a portion of the demographics, the percentage that don't like women.
yeah, that's that. So if you think about it like that, then and you got most of the people chasing after that unicorn,
Hmm.
as you call them, like the picture of Slim. So I hear people a lot say like there's not a lot of good men out here, but I think what they're really saying there's not a lot of men that fit maybe those
So
categories
yeah,
that you
absolutely. It's not a
just
lot. So when um, I was growing up in Arkansas, my ideal was I was going to be a pulpwood farmer. You know what that is, don't you? I was going to cut down
yeah,
trees
yeah.
and sell them to the paper mills. That was going to be my,
Hmm.
when I got out of high school, that was my dream job. Got land in
Yeah.
Arkansas. I can work for myself, right? Cut down. I was a boy in the 10th grade making $100 a day doing that. So I knew that I was
Hmm.
going to be doing that as a man, right? So fast forward, I'm 62 years of age now. What do you think women would think of me if that would have been my profession?
If you yeah, yeah. I mean back then it probably was okay,
No,
but not now.
not even back then.
Yeah.
There have been very few
Oh
choices because
man.
we were going to uh, college and game busters. Yeah. So
Got you. Good.
that's the thing. But here is Mary worth it with all these challenges in the marketplace, with all these voices on the internet valuing men, devaluing men, valuing women, devaluing women, right? All these voices that's going on. We have to get back to the fundamentals of value, right? And so, as a male and
What's
as a woman, what is your value system? What's your value proposition, right?
it ain't
Huh?
money? It
Well,
ain't
in
money.
the modern society, that's all it is money. Uh, and so, in my practice, professionally, in my teaching, I teach people that the poorest man in the world is the one that only has money, right? That's man or
Mm.
woman. If only thing that you have is money, you are poor. If
Hey, Mike Tyson said this. He said, if you think a lot of money is gonna make you happy, then you never
right,
had a lot
yeah,
of money. And that's me that made millions and lost it all. And for him to say that, I
yeah,
think is
he knows,
profound. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Hey, so here's one from Ivory, one of my good friends and podcast members. She said it's easier to get a divorce and to work through the difficulties. And I can attest that, a lot of people that say, you know what, I ain't get married for this. And you know what, I'm too old to be dealing with this. I ain't about to tell him or her that. They should already know. So I see that this is a statement that a lot of people hold
Yeah,
true.
it is true, because of the reason that is true is because of the no fault divorce, right? So the no fault divorce was created by the state, right? Because now the state produced child support, and the more child support that the state produce is federally funded, and it goes into a portion of that money goes into the judge pension program. So the more time that he award the children to the woman and award child support, his pension is getting bigger, right? So they incentivize for divorce. But here's what's going on in the country now. So since men has opted out of marriage, there's a movement across the country to say, hey, we're getting rid of no fault divorce, right? And so now, Ivory, it's going to be more difficult if you decide to get married to get divorced. Watching when my mama was alive, she used to like to watch Lifetime. So I was watching a Lifetime movie with her, and the girl was talking to her mom, and she was telling her mom that she was getting ready to divorce her husband. And her mom was like, what? Getting ready to divorce your husband? She said, and the daughter asked the mother, how did you and my dad stay married so long? She said, because we did not give ourselves an out. It was their mindset. There is no out. Yeah. Not only are we not giving ourselves an out, we're not taking the out that the state given us, right? So as long as no fault divorce exists, it will be an out. People will take the out. It was called taking the path of least resistance. We all do it in every areas of our lives. We will take it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Alicia said, ouch, picking the wrong mate. Young people see the fairy tales, not understanding the reality has to hit. Or he or she thinks that the other person is so cute, not knowing their inner man or woman. And you're right. We just look at and I've been guilty of that, and I'm not just saying when I was young, it's all about the look, had a type or a preference. And, that means a lot, to go wrong. So
absolutely. That just speaks to the shallow age that we live in. We live in an age of shallow Hal, right? Everybody is so shallow. Mm-hmm. There's no depth, right? Because there's no mother, there's no father, there's no grandfather to give you instruction on why you should get married, how to vet people. Women in other cultures, not even America, I'm gonna tell you about America, but women in other cultures, they stay married, right? Because what they do, they have their fathers, their uncles, and the men around them vet the men. You don't just bring a man home and go like, oh, Pops, I want to marry him. No, we need to vet this guy, right? He has a Lamborghini. Oh, he's this, he's that. Oh, he's educated. Oh, who cares? We need to check out his character. So men can see other men characters, where women might have blind spots when it comes to looking at men. And so
I was about to ask you, like, how is that important? That's it.
Right. So I have learned that I have blind spots. So I have men in my life that I can ask about my blind spots. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. So here's a good one right here from Lord Banzai.
Banzai.
So he's tuning in from YouTube. Yeah. Okay, appreciate it. But he says, why do people give up on marriage after 10 years? And I think that's a good question, because I've heard people say you get past the first 3, 4, or 5 years, then it's smooth sailing. Now, here he is saying like after 10 years that people are giving up. So you want to get some insight on
Lord
that?
Benzine, thanks for tuning in. That's my TikTok buddy there. Why? You remember they used to say the 7-year itch? You know what I'm saying? In marriages, they used to call it the 7-year itch. 10 years with a man, you golden. You can get half his stuff. You can get Social Security from him. You know, you can exit. I'm talking about a productive man, right? I'm not talking about some Pookie or Ray Ray. I'm talking about a productive man. If you have a productive man, plumber, roughneck. You know what a roughneck is?
Yeah, you told me those
on the
guys
rigs,
on the
not
rigs.
some guy walking around in some Timberlands. I'm talking about a roughneck, all rigs and working out in the oil fields and working on electrical lines, making $150,000 a year. You get yourself one of them and stay with him for 10 years. You can exit with pension. You can exit with Social Security, right? So I would hate to think that that's what women are doing, but statistically it says that that's what they are doing. 70% of women file for divorce. If they're college educated, that number swells to 80%, right? So why? You know, are you exiting for the financial gain, right? It makes no sense. Why do people give up on marriage after 10 years? It is a conundrum. It's an environment. It's the feminist environment in America that has produced that. Well, I was telling you that in other countries where they don't have this feminist movement, people stay together till they die, and they're not in miserable bondage. They're in loving families that produce children and grandchildren, where on your deathbed you can have 100 people come see you before you die. You do 10 years and exit, you will never see that, because you're not looking at the Lord Banzai, they're not looking at the long range picture. They don't have an image of what's possible. If you went into marriage and you thought, on my deathbed, I want 50, 60 of the fruit of my loins to gather around me and bid me adieu, it will change your perspective how you would deal with marriage.
Yeah. Amen to that. Aubrey said people think the wedding is the end when actually it's the beginning.
I like wedding cake too. That's those people. The only thing they like is wedding cake, and you're right, because there's no planning. I would tell you, I've been to a lot of weddings, and I have never seen a more perfectly planned day. When you go to a wedding and they don't have a hitch, and you go like, wow, from start to finish, to the blowing of the trumpet, to them getting into the carriage and riding away. I've been in them type of weddings too, right? So yeah. So on that day they plan it meticulously, and then the planning stops. Right? They stop planning for the morrow, and 10 years down the way, 20. So yeah, they just like wedding cakes and wedding ceremonies, right? And so they have already shown that they can plan, take some of that energy and plan for living.
Is it really that simple? Planning?
It really is. It really is. It's really that simple, because you plan to go to work. What's tomorrow? Friday. You're planning on going to work tomorrow. You already got your clothes laid out. You already know the lunch you're going to pack. You already know the route you're going to go. You pretty much 90%. You know the work that you're going to do when you get there. That's already another day. Why don't you just add them days together? a week, a month.
I get it, man.
You know, you probably attend one of my workshops where I'm talking about a 10-year plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
30
to a few of
days,
them.
90 days, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Plan. Yeah. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Ivory, I like wedding cake too. That's what.
yeah. So my
Okay.
auntie, Miss Mary Walker said, yes, marriage is two side, not just the man's side. The wife have a side also. Marriage is always better than living in sin. The Bible says better to marry than to burn, and we talked about that earlier too.
Mary, this you say this your auntie? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
man.
be nice
Ladies.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
always it takes two to tango, absolutely, and those two sides must know their responsibility, right? It is the
Yeah.
man's job to love the wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. It is the wife's job to submit herself unto her own husband, right? So the relationship between a man and woman was cursed in the garden. She went biblical on me, so I'm gonna stay biblical with her. It was cursed in the garden. And so then when Paul come and he tells you the remedy for the curse is love and submission, right? That's the remedy to the curse of the relationship between man and woman. So it's love and submission, and it's on both sides, submitting yourself one to another in the Lord, right? So submission.
Yeah.
So the woman's not just submitting; the man is submitting to the Lord, and the Lord says, "Love her," right? I'm telling you, that's the cure. If you want the cure to smallpox, you want to cure the AIDS, whatever dreaded disease you could think of, the curse that man and woman received in the garden, submission and love is the key. Thank you, Mary.
Hey, so if you don't mind, while we go to this next question, can you go to your Facebook and make your post public, because you got a number of questions from your own followers. And I want to make sure we give your people equal time to address their questions. And yeah, you'll see the post that where we're live. You just change that to public from friends to public.
All right.
I
thought I had did it. Okay, it's live.
Yeah, your people will be mad at you.
Are they mad at me?
I said they would have been if you had missed them.
So I'm live, and
you know how to go up in those three dots at the top right, and you hit edit post.
Edit.
Yeah.
And
once you say friends, everyone, public, or something like that.
Edit public.
Make it public.
I don't think I'm in the right place. But I go to the live, right? We're doing this here.
Yeah, you go to the actual broadcast. Yeah, you hit those three dots, and you see where it says edit privacy.
Okay, I think. Oh, okay. There's a three dot. It says edit post.
Yeah.
And it says
do you
friends,
see?
And I make it public.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy.
And we're in business now, so you got quite a few comments. We're gonna make sure we get to them too,
I apologize. But we scheduled some time for this. This might go an hour plus.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do a part two. So yeah, for sure. So Ivory got the good insight on there. Ivory said, sounds like the relationship was built on a lie. Woman will stay and put up with a lot of foolishness for a long time before she leaves. So, we talked about earlier that some people's experience, is such as that. And, I know a lot of women that will attest the same thing. So, sometimes they will.
She will put up with Ivory. You had a tall, good looking, handsome man. That's why you put up with that. You ain't gonna put up with it with a guy like me. Say what you right. Yeah, the average guy like me, you ain't putting up with nothing. You had a tall, good-looking, handsome, financially smooth talker, and you was putting up with a lot of crap from him. Me, the bus driver, you ain't putting up with nothing from me. Ivory, in love.
Pam, appreciate the comment. Pam says, hello. Yes, marriage is still worth it when selecting the right person. It's the second most of the time more important decision.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the more important decisions. Yeah, selecting the right person. I'm in agreement with that. I know you had some not really pushback, but something to add on that.
Oh,
Sometimes it ain't that it's the wrong
no,
person. Is that people go in with the wrong.
I got definitely pushback.
Okay,
So here's
what
the
you
deal.
got?
Some more, the comedian, she was doing a stand-up, and she said, I was, she said, I put a weave in my head and it was down to my behind. And then I was getting approached by all these guys, right? And then when I took the weave out of my head, they stopped approaching me, right? Because it is your confidence. It is not it. You are the right person, not the other person. So when you are the right person, those other wrong people won't come. I'm gonna tell you, I'm so positive. I'm so engaging. I'm so loving. I'm so kind. Evil, negative people cannot stand and be around for me for 15 minutes. They will get out from around me. They will exit the room. I'm the right person. So it's impossible for me, twice divorced, at this stage in the game to uh, to select the wrong person because I am the right person.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, Mia Nicole says
Yes,
it's worth it. But I would say don't ignore the red flags and signs prior to. Some flags should be
absolutely,
non-negotiable. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So this is all modern um, psychology. Actually, what it is, it is. Uh, it's not even educated psychology. It's not even textbook psychology, right? The things that we're talking about, red flag, and I'm not picking on your meal. We appreciate the content, but we talk about these red flags too much. I'm gonna tell you that with the red flag, them people cannot stand to be around you, dear. They will exit the room. Don't worry about red flags.
Yeah.
Be a green flag. Be a positive flag. And trust me, they will get off around you.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into her follow-up. She said, however, sometimes we compromise thinking we can deal with the things, then later find out we really can't deal with it. Yeah. So you notice them and then you compromise your values and your principles and take that on
Never,
anyway. Facts
never
over feelings.
compromise your principles. Yeah,
Yeah.
facts over feelings.
Yeah, and Pam said from a Christian woman. Okay. Here's another one from Miss Caitlin. She said that's not a reason to dissolve unholy marriage. So she was talking about the irreconcilable differences earlier. Our community is keeping up with the Jones, not real. Oh, finances too. But keeping up the Jones, not realizing the Jones stayed married, have a dog, house, car, 401k, and 2.5 children.
Right. Yeah. So that's not
Yeah.
so. Yeah, unholy. What she said? Unholy what?
Unholy union.
Okay. Yeah, that's a rough one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Teresa said, not all marriages
Or work
are
it? What do you mean,
work.
Teresa? Not all.
Yeah, if you could do a follow in there. Yeah.
Uh,
All righty. Mr. Gregory, one of the other guys that come
okay.
in part of the podcast, he said, didn't know I was in the 10%. Strong conversation, brother. So Gregory's over 6 feet. He's six-figure earner. What's the other one?
Yeah. Well, you got a six-pack, Gregory? Yeah, so you know, 6 feet. Gregory knows this. Handsome. You're handsome, Gregory.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
Yeah. Hey, here's Ivory said, not all women want that type of man.
Not all women
Yeah,
can get that type of man.
Yeah. A good friend of mine said she was tired of getting done wrong, so she went and dated a less appealing guy who was what we call it
Yeah.
today, big
Okay.
boned, and he still was stealing from her when she was asleep. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
true story,
So
man.
go ahead. Well, we got some more.
Yeah, man, we got to get to these here. Then we're gonna get to yours next. I honestly have my knight in shining armor that's over 6 feet, and he was not my cup of tea that I would have chose for myself. God definitely put us together. Okay,
Okay. Okay. Good.
yeah. Gregory also said marriage is
Okay.
worth it,
Okay.
and I
Good.
definitely, yeah. Go down. Then I'm finna get to yours here in a minute. Tony Bogan.
Yep. Tony. Mm-hmm.
Let me go back first. Say like any experience, it has its benefits and challenges. For
Okay.
me, no.
Tony said no.
Hey, and I mean no now. When it was beneficial for me, I was married, so it's subjective. But experience has been that I have received husband benefits from men that were not nor never would be my husband. Okay,
I don't know what.
so she need to get married. She getting those
Husband benefit is that brother die and leave you his 401k. He leaves you all of his wealth. Right? Those are husband benefits. Yeah. Like Jay-Z say, I might I might buy you Chris. I might light your wrist. That's about it. You're not getting to the safe. Wives get to the safe. Anyway, I'm not Aaron Dyson, but I know the rappers.
Yeah. I'll let you take that one right there, and I'm gonna go to your feed and get some of these questions.
Not been equally yoked mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay. All right. So we want to be on the same page. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So now, your questions are feeding over from your followers. It's not good for your mental health to stay in a situation whereas you're unhappy. And I would just say this with that. I know that unhappy can be, subjective based off persons. It could be some truly unhealthy stuff that is, draining you, or some people just like, I'm not happy because of some simple things. But she said resentment will set in, and you're right. Regardless of your reason for unhappiness, resentment will set in, and then it really gets nasty. Free yourself and be unselfish enough to free the partner you have outgrown. I know you got a lot to say
just
on
simply
that.
What we had said before, vision. When you have a clear vision of why that you got into that union, then all those things become secondary, right? It's just like building a successful business, right? There's some unhappy moments, there's some happy moments, but the vision is that you're going to build a company that you can pass on to the next generation. And so you endure and you work through and you develop skills and strategies to get through that situation, right? And so, but I agree, both people will have to be sold out on the vision, right? Yeah, I'm unhappy at the moment, this and that. What can I do to work? And everybody has to, she said, be emotionally, spiritually, physically mature, that they have bought into this vision that we're going to build a family when we're 65 and 75 years of age, and we swinging on our chair and on our porch down south by the river, and our children have came to visit us. There's 40 of them in the house that came to see us.
Yeah.
That's a vision that you can borrow strength from.
Yeah, good stuff. So Candy Brown, another one of your followers, she said, people have to choose the right partner wisely and enter marriage with a long-term plan. Kind of reflecting what you said.
Yeah, and so the wisdom in choosing a partner is to remove yourself woman, and let your brothers, your uncle choose that guy. Man, remove yourself and let your auntie and your mama now check that girl out, right? We had a vetting
Yeah.
process because we all
Hmm.
inundated with, oh, she's so fine, she's so pretty, oh, he's so handsome, he's so tall, he's so strong, right? Yeah.
What should the questions be?
So,
What should the questions be if it's not, tall, fine, handsome, rich?
oh, okay.
What are some of the things
Okay.
that they should
Well,
be
you
putting
should be
on?
looking at the quality of a person's character, the principles that they live by. Is this a man or woman of principles? Are they a person that has uh, discipline? Do they have the ability to stick it out over the long haul? Right? And so you say, well, how can somebody prove that in 7, 18, 20 years? Yeah, you can prove it. You can you got enough living to prove that you have discipline, right? And so
Yeah.
that's um, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone that lives by principles, and there's a whole lot of principles out there. There's
Yeah.
not me myself. I live by spiritual principles. There's Stoic principles. There's principles from Buddha. There's principles from other philosophers, right? A whole bunch of principles out here in the universe that or you're a principled person, right? And so
Yeah. Yeah.
that will guide you. Blue, blue.
Yeah. Blue said, yeah, something. Sometimes I think that sometimes people take advantage of good and positive people. Absolutely. They target them for their kindness and then are manipulative. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's crazy is sometimes you don't know it until you knee deep in it. People can wait you out, and but so what do you want
Blue,
to add something to
blue,
that?
212. I'm saying we just got through talking about principles, and so here's my spiritual principle: do not give your godly things to dogs. Do not give your good things to swines. Right? So people can only take an advantage of you if you let them. This is why. This is why you have to have discernment when you're dealing with people. Yeah, and and
Yeah.
and, and trust me, it's very difficult because there's two types of people. There's people that do things because it's right, and then there's people that do things because it makes them look right. You got to get very close to them to determine which are their intentions, right? So take your
Oh,
time,
wow.
be discerning, and don't let them take advantage of your goodness. Don't ever stop being a positive and good person because there are people, yes, that will take advantage and get fooled every once in a while. You will. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think going back to what you were saying earlier, letting daddy and uncle and brothers vet
Yeah.
these people, and same thing
Mhm.
for women. Yeah, so that helps because we can have that tunnel vision and we only see, especially if they putting their best
Woo.
act on for you. So
You can be like Samson. This woman well pleases me.
yeah. This is from Nisha. Appreciate the comment. Nisha, she said marriage is definitely worth it when divinely ordained between two reasonable people. And I like that word reasonable because I think that's oft overlooked. You ever tried to argue with somebody that's being unreasonable, Josh?
I would have to say
Eh,
no. I'm
no,
not
I
even going
did,
to
man.
argue with an unreasonable person. If
Yeah,
you correct a fool, you make an enemy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
you let them be, huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
now,
yeah. Man, this rain. I know we didn't hit half the stuff we were supposed to, but this is a time where we wrap up and let you leave the audience with some kind of wisdom, and when we'll promise if you will come back
yeah.
and do a part two for
Okay.
you. But you have to give people some good advice, some good wisdom, something to take back and use, and even pass down to others. What would it
Absolutely.
be?
Marriage is an institution that is divinely created from my perspective, from the creator of everything, of the universe, of what we see and what's unseen. He decided, not she, he decided, because he always introduced himself in the masculine, that for the people that he created, that this will be the best union for them to be productive. This union was created for them to create other people. And what these people who come together, what they're supposed to create, they're not supposed to create people that look like them, but they are supposed to create more people that looks like God, right? So that's the first perspective. That's why marriage is the union, marriage, children. And the purpose of these children are to create children that looks like their creator, that is loving, that is kind, that is forgiving, that is merciful, right? All these characteristics of your creator you want to put into your children, right? And so marriage, the institution of marriage is still viable. It is still the building blocks for families and for communities and nations. And if you take the families out of a nation, the nation will crumble. As you see in America, we are crumbling now. Our replacement of children, for every child that's been born, every person that's been died, we have to replace them. We used to have 3, 4, 5 people being replacing a death. Now we're at about 2.1, 2.3 children being born. Some countries like China and Japan, their replacement rate is 1 or less. They're dying. So when and they're dying because they're not marrying. And so when you take marriage out of the equation, the building blocks, all the struggle, all the heartaches that you're going to endure dealing with one another. Well, can you imagine? You got to deal with yourself. That's who your spouse got to deal with, right? So you're not a walk in the park, right?
Hey.
So now you're asking a woman to deal with you. You're asking a man to deal with you. Come on. That's why it takes grace. So it takes love to maintain this. And so, is it worth it? Tell you, full disclosure, divorced twice. I'm blessed. Tell you, it's worth it to me. I had 3 children. I now have 4 grandsons. Were with them the other day, and they were jumping all on me, loving all on me. If I never got married, I would never experience that, because I would never have children outside the confine of marriage, right? So marriage is worth it. If we want to do a part 2, we can look at the facts of what the statistic says is going on in the Black community when there's no marriages, when there's no family. Look, when we're looking at our children and how they're suffering, how they're going to jail, how they're becoming sex workers, all these statistics exist in abundance. I'm talking about almost 80% plus when there's no core family. All you gotta do is return back to the family to solve the problem. Get rid of your ego, my ego. Now we're fighting one another. Black man, black woman, you're fighting each other, right? You're competing against one another, right? No, you cannot build a nation like that. So my thoughts is that, yes, it's worth it. Not going to be easy. And we were talking about, I think marriage is for the young people. I'm almost 70 years old, 62 to be exact. And marriage is nothing for me. I already been married. I already have children. I already have a career. I already have those things. So this is for the young generation. So you old folks on here, I need for you to talk to young people. I need for you to apologize to them. Tell them you were wrong. Tell them you made a mistake by leaving their mom or leaving their dad, right? apologize, correct yourself where you got breath in your body. And so hopefully that will correct the ills that are going on in the Black community.
Man, I want to ready for that last part, Josh.
Yeah.
Apologize. Correct.
Yeah. Be a man about it, as Tony Braxton said. Yeah, be a man and apologize to your people. If I'm apologizing to anybody who I offended, I hurt, right? Because my mouth is slicker than snot.
That's slick.
Right?
You're nasty.
Yeah. So listen, that it is well worth it. We have had an engaging conversation. We want to, maybe if we do a part 2, we want to look at the data that suggests that if we keep on this path, there won't be a Black community to speak of. We can forget about the outside influences, the government influence. We can forget about the illegal immigrants that they flooding our community with. And you got to worry about them. If we were strong and together, they would dare not bring those people to our community.
And like on House Party 3, they said words to live by. That's what Bernie Mac said. Live by. Live by. Hey, so part of the challenge, we talk about the financials. So I know you're heavy in that space, helping people manage their financials, their assets, and business strategies. So I'm gonna let you take a moment and tell people again what you do on the business side and how you can offer to help people in those areas.
All right, excellent. So I have a boutique practice, my estate planning, asset protection, business advisor and company. I don't know if you can see it in the back there, Stone Consultant LLC. And so we help you protect your assets. We help you if you have accumulated something, how to protect it in this very litigious society, how to deal with the things that are impacting you from building wealth. There are taxation and fees, right? So you are being taxed to death. 50 to 70% of your income is exposed to taxation. And then every vehicle that you put your money in to save, or every vehicle you buy, you've been taxed to death, whether that's your mortgage, checking account, savings account, investment account. So we help you navigate these and reduce these fees so that you can grow your money and then protect yourself, right? And then we advise that you have a business, right? Always. And creating something that you can do now or that you can do when you retire from your job. Never quit your job. Right? So that's what we do. I have a YouTube channel where there's over 200 different videos on corporations, LLCs, how to live a life tax-free, tax reduction strategies, how that are moral, legal, and ethical. So we kind of consider ourselves a teacher in the financial literacy space. Okay.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that you say when I first met you, started working with you, is that you ain't teaching people how to make money. You teaching us how to keep it.
That's right. Yeah. And I don't do none of that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Talking about, I'm gonna make you wealthy. I'm gonna grow your wealth. The only way you're gonna be wealthy is to go out there and earn money, increase your earning, keep your lifestyle low, keep them taxes, and keep that inflation, not taxes, but keep them fees for robbing you of your wealth. It's a simple formula, but it takes a whole lot of discernment to know where you're being taxed at, know where you've been excessive fees.
Yeah, really good. It's worth it. I learned a lot, man. You helped me build tax strategies, LLC, nonprofit, and just the knowing, and so I appreciate everything I learned done here. And again, those financials can be a strain on a relationship. So
absolutely, absolutely. That's the number one reason for divorce, then infidelity, and then of course the in-laws. Right, those are the three top reasons why people get divorced. Right. I'll let your boy. Let me help you with your money.
Yeah, so I got the website on the
Yeah.
screen for you. Reach out to Joshua Pondexter, and there's a place for them to schedule a consultation, right?
Absolutely, yeah. If you want a business consultation, estate planning consultation, just hit the bullet of your concern. It will take you to my scheduler. We work Monday, through Friday, 9 to 5. You can get a complimentary consultation. Wouldn't even charge you to talk to me. You talk to me for an hour, I'll change your life. Mhm.
I attest to it. He real.
Yeah.
Reach out to him, man. Hey, this is the worst part of the show. Well, we got to get
Yes,
ready
sir.
to
I
close it out.
appreciate you.
The conversation's been good. It's always great conversation when we talk. And I appreciate everything I've learned on you, and I'm sure the audience will say the same. Appreciate you making yourself available for us, and we promise we coming back with part 2. Hey, how we said in the church, if the Lord say the same.
So right on.
Yeah. So peace out there. Yeah, y'all know the routine. Like, share, continue to comment. Joshua is going to be available to come back and respond to the comments if you have any additional questions about marriage or financials. But remember, go to his website. What I've learned, Josh, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of times it's not how much we make; it's that we don't know how to manage what we make.
Because I see y'all on social media. It look like y'all balling out of control.
Oh yeah, out of control is the right word too. Out. Yeah, so appreciate your pedigree growing. It's a great show.
That's my son. That's Joshua Pondexter II.
Oh, excellent. So good deal. So y'all know the deal. Again, like, share, subscribe. Spread the word. Get the show out to people that you think could benefit from the information about marriage, or if they got questions about their financials, their estate planning, or just business questions, reach out to Mr. Pondexter, and he'll be able to help you out. JoshuaPondexter.com.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, it, man. Go ahead. Let's go. Let's end.
Now it's my turn to tell y'all about my big bro Gerard.
That's
podcast crew. From DJ to realist, Miss Cookie the professor, and you can't forget about the inspiration shit. They talk about it all, got advice for us all. You'll never know how deep the talks will go. On the weekdays, the weekends, they be going live with the topics. Then they do the segment where the floor is yours. You can post your comments, you can post your statements, yeah. You can ask your questions, They can help you get your life moving in the right direction. If you need advice on marriage, advice on finance, advice on healing, advice on credit, this the podcast that you need to check out. Go ahead and tune in, you'll feel what I'm talking about.